Imagine if the voice inside your head was your best friend. I mean, what would you say? What would you say to your best friend when something happens, when they had a failure or they hit a bump in the road? What would you say? So say that to yourself. Start speaking to yourself just like that. It's not just self-help, it's self-revolution. So let's turn our inner critic into our inner coach. Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and joy while providing mental health awareness and breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community. I'm your host, Dr. Enjoy, and today I bring to you episode 58, Stop Bullying Yourself. Practice self-compassion and silence the self-critic that is inside your mind. We are our own worst enemy sometimes, and we are our own worst critic at times. I mean, there could be many people that bully us, or many things that people may say to us, or things that we might read or interpret, but it's our minds most of the time that's actually bullying ourselves. Or because we interpret something that someone says, it's because of what's already going on in our minds that turns what someone else is saying into something that bullies us. Or no one said anything, but it's just our mind just saying, why do you look like that? Why do you have to look like that? Or critiquing something that you said and you're just like, oh my God, why did I have to say that? I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. What an idiot I am. We've all said that to ourselves, but why? Why is that okay? Why? We need to transform these voices that are in our head, or these thoughts that are in our head, into the voices and the thoughts that help propel us forward, not backward. Because when we bully ourselves, when we talk bad about ourselves or down ourselves, what is that doing? Why do you feel like you deserve to be told you're an idiot, or you're stupid, or you're a failure, or question why you did something, or allowing yourself to overthink why did you say something, or make up things in your own head? Sometimes we perceive things that have happened to us that actually didn't even happen. Oh, they just said that because they don't like me. Or, oh, they just said that because that thing that I said, or because that I did this, when that's not even the case. A lot of times we're misinterpreting what is happening around us and what is being said about us, or what hasn't even been said, and we're making it up because of how we already feel about ourselves. So practice that self-compassion, not bullying yourself and not critiquing your every move. It's okay to think about what can you do to get better. I mean, that's what processing and journaling and therapy is all about, is how can you improve? How can you be a better you? That's great. But along the way, talk to yourself positively and be your own coach as opposed to your own critic. And some people say, well, if I don't say it to myself, nobody will. I mean, if you're motivated by negative thoughts and that actually makes you to do better. But in most cases, we are not motivated by negative thoughts, and the negative thoughts are not making us do better. It's just only drawing us back. I mean, I can literally think of times where I'm like just sitting up and I'm just like, okay, my husband said that thing to me, and oh, it's because he thinks I don't look good today, or oh, it's because he thinks this. And I'll think to myself, oh my God, that's ridiculous. That is not true. I'm literally making things up in my head. And us women tend to do that. I mean, men do it too, but us women especially do that. If you're a wife, a girlfriend, a spouse, whatever you are, we tend to make things up in our head and act like our man done said something that he actually did not say. So this bullying ourselves or self-critiquing applies to when other people are saying things as well as what we may be saying to ourselves. What triggers you bullying yourself in the first place? Usually it's something that done happened, right? So if somebody said something, think about what you're saying to yourself as a result. Are you feeling that way because that thought made you think that? And then, of course, you feel bad because you thought that? Are you making an assumption based on something someone said? I'm trying to think of an example. Okay. I have great examples because my husband is really, really good at telling me, oh, yeah, don't wear that. I don't like that. Mm-mm. No, I think you will look better. In fact, when we were on the cruise, this is a great example. We were about to go to the beach. It was one stop. We were going to the beach and getting off. And I was just thinking, like, maybe we might go buggy riding. So let me put on like a little t-shirt and some shorts and some gym shoes. We're going to go buggy riding. In fact, nobody talked about buggy riding except for my brother-in-law and my brother. We weren't going. But for some reason, I was just like, let me dress that way. So then my husband sees me and he says, "Oh, are you gonna wear something nice?" And I was like, "Oh, he's trying to say what I have on isn't nice." And I said to myself, "Okay, Nina, he's not saying you look ugly. I think he just wants you to look better than what you have on." And then he said, "Well, yeah, well, I was thinking we should take some pictures." So now I was like, "Okay." So I changed, and mind you, other people had seen my outfit. So then I changed and I put on this nice flowy beach dress. And so my husband was like, "Oh, yes, yes, you look great. That's more like you. You should definitely wear that." And then my sister even said the same thing. She was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm so glad you changed." And then my sister-in-law said the same thing, like, "Oh, I'm like, oh, wait, so y'all all was thinking that my outfit sucks?" So this is actually a scenario that went well because I could feel the fork in the road. And I've talked about that before where I know where I could take offense to something that someone has said versus let me just kind of understand where they're coming from. So I literally could have been like, what do you mean am I going to wear something nice? And then get into my head and think, oh my God, he hates what I have on. He thinks I'm ugly. My husband doesn't love me anymore. Oh my gosh. And that's the way that we can like literally that slippery slope to like a toxic relationship because your mind done just went far left when that was not even the case. But I think this was a situation that went well because I said, okay, let me understand where he's coming from. And then it was just so interesting that once I changed, I realized, oh, everybody was thinking the same thing. But it was a compliment to what I usually wear. They're like, well, we used to seeing you in that flowy dress. So that's what we thought you should be in, not no shorts and t-shirt. So a lot of scenarios in our lives happen that way where we misinterpret the sentiment behind what someone's saying. And of course, it could be how they're saying it. And in this case, my husband didn't even say it in a mean way anyway. But even if someone's saying things in a mean way to you or in a salty way, it's okay to have empathy and think about, well, what are they going through? What do they really mean? Okay, maybe they really, meant well, that kind of thing. Either way, we have to protect our minds from how we perceive something that someone says. There was a post last month about how people don't make us feel anyway. Well, if someone says something mean, you can still repel that and decide, well, I'm not going to feel bad about that because there's always something in the middle of what that person said and your reaction. And that thing in the middle is your inner voice, your self critic, your thoughts. So if your thoughts are, I love myself, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm amazing, I can improve, I can make progress, I'm not stupid, those positive thoughts, then what people say and do to you filters through that. And then you are able to respond more emotionally regulated and not get angry if they make you feel some kind of way. Because in the process of accepting what someone has said to you, you bully your own self. Oh, they said that mean thing because I deserved it. They said that mean thing because I just suck as a person. Why do I even live? Why was I born? So you take that and you run with it. So you're your own worst critic and you start to bully yourself because someone else or something that you perceive that someone else has said or did has gotten to you and you just take it and run with it. And then, of course, there's a scenario in general where nobody even said anything, but you just sitting up talking about yourself. Why? Why are you talking about yourself? Why do you deserve that? If the 3-year-old you was standing in front of you and asking for advice, would you tell that little girl, little boy, or little them that you suck and you ugly and you can't live up to anything and you should have never been born? Think about yourself as that 3-year-old self. You would not say that to yourself, or you would not say that to your 3-year-old sibling or niece or nephew, or you would not in general, say that to someone else. Half the thoughts you think about, you would not say that to somebody else. So why do you deserve to say it to yourself? Why? Why don't you deserve the self-compassion that you need? And when you are more self-compassionate, compassionate towards your own self, loving yourself, having that self-love, you're more attractive, both inward and outward. People see you as a person that they want to be around. A lot of people who have been through a lot and stressed out, traumatized, depressed, all kinds of things because of the way they talk to themselves, that inner dialogue, talk so negatively about themselves. They aren't people that people want to be around because you don't show yourself as being respected, worthy of that love and worthy of that respect. And then when people don't want to be around you, then you continue to turn that negatively and say, oh, people don't want to be around me. I suck. No, it's because you don't like yourself. So if you don't like yourself, you're making yourself into someone that no one likes to be around. So it starts with you. Hey, I'm sure that's hard to hear for some people, but it's true. It starts with you. Self-compassion, self-love. Get that critic out of there and turn into a coach. Of course, when I mentioned voices earlier, I mean your thoughts. If you are actually having voices, hallucinations that sound like it's a voice outside your head, but is actually a hallucination and no one else is actually talking to you, then please seek a psychiatrist and a therapist, because there's more to your thoughts that we need to help you with. Intrusive thoughts, voices that you can't even stop. People who hallucinate actually have negative voices telling them all those things, and they can't even control it or stop it in the first place. So they got voices saying, "Oh, you suck. You need to go do this. You need to go cut. You need to do that." So it's something they actually cannot control. So if you're going through something that you actually cannot control, please seek help. Please seek therapy. Seek a psychiatrist. I take patients, enjoy life, DRNJOYLIFE.com. I accept Aetna. Otherwise, look at your insurance, look at who is in network and go see them. So that's important. But of course, I am speaking about when you are not experiencing hallucinations and you have thoughts that you can control and are able to stop. It starts with you choosing joy and deciding, making that decision to stop bullying yourself and to stop critiquing yourself so much. Think about at work. You go in and get feedback. Most of the time, you had a really good boss or a good supervisor, manager, whoever they are going to critique you in a constructive manner and say, these are the things that are going well. These are the things you need to improve on. And, when it comes to feedback, it's a matter of filling that gap of this is where I am now and this is where I need to be. So a good coach, a good supervisor, a good person who's giving you good feedback will help you understand how to fill that gap between this is where I am now and this is where I need to be. So you need to be that good coach for yourself. If you feel like this is where I need to be and I'm not there, telling yourself you suck, you can never get there, it's not moving forward. You need to adopt thoughts that are helping you move forward. Moving backwards is not the key. Okay, you're experiencing anxiety and you're experiencing depression, and you've experienced that most of your life, and you're feeling like this is the norm for me. This is all I know. Maybe I should just stay depressed. I don't even know what happiness feels like. I don't even know if I want to feel happiness because I don't know. And negative thoughts are everything that you've ever had. It can be definitely difficult, but that is your time to see a therapist and talk to the psychiatrist, because maybe there's clinical depression, major depression, severe depression, or anxiety that gets so much in the way of us being able to have control over our thoughts that maybe we do need some intensive therapy or medication that can help us get to the point where we are accepting of those new therapeutic strategies. But it all goes together: medication, therapy, self-care, all kinds of wellness strategies, in addition to the positive affirmations and changing your internal dialogue that works. So you even just saying, I'm going to believe that I'm amazing. I'm going to believe that I can experience joy. The more you talk about it and the more you say it, the more you will experience that. It will happen. And I get all the time, well, I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Well, you believe the negative thoughts because they've been happening so often and you're so used to it, and that's just all you know. But the more you push in those positive thoughts, that positive coach voice, then the more the negative voices will just start to lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. There won't be any room for negative thoughts. And I say it all the time. I've definitely had times where I'm just like, okay, let me think negatively. I just wanna cry so that I can let it out, and then I'll say, "Why? Why?" And then I'll think to myself, "Well, why am I even feeling this way? Why do I wanna cry? Oh, you know what? I am pretty tired," or, "Oh, you know what? I haven't had a break. I haven't had me time," or, "Oh, I haven't ran in a few days. Let me take care of that." So question yourself. Stop yourself when you are starting to talk bad about yourself, when that you bully is starting to pop up in your head, say, "Why am I talking to myself like that?" Question yourself. What is going on? Is there something in my self-care routine that I need to change or that I haven't done in a while? Where because a lot of times we just resort to these negative thoughts because we're tired or hungry or something's going on. There's some big stressor. I've mentioned before there's 5 crucial areas of our health that we need to maintain: our mental health, our physical health, our financial health, our aspirational health, which is your hopes and dreams, and our social health. So if your mental health and physical health is going well, something financially could just kick you right off of that and you'd be stressed out and anxious, all kinds of things going on. So if it's like, oh, wait, oh, that's what it is. That bill that I have due, I can't pay it. And I started getting stressed out and I started thinking about how I suck. Okay, well, I don't suck. All right. So since it's the thing about that bill that ticked me off and made me started bullying myself, how about I make a plan for how I can pay that? How about I make a plan of how I can save? Let me start looking at my budgeting to see what I need to cut out so that I can pay that bill eventually. And then you start to feel better because you're starting to create a plan. So it's really important to understand your triggers and understand what is going on at the time that's making you feel that way. There's a situation that leads to a thought to make you feel some kind of way. That's always the process. And maybe there's a time where the emotion makes you think a certain way. There's usually, even if it's real quick, there's some automatic thought between that situation and that emotion that gets you feeling some kind of way. That thought. So be very cognizant about your thoughts. Think about your thoughts. And know and learn where you can interject and stop that critic that you have because you can be your worst critic at any time of day for any reason because of any trigger. So be your best self and be the best for yourself and be the best to yourself. That's important because if nobody else is loving you or being compassionate to you or patient with you and you're not, nobody's going to do it. Nobody's going to do it in your place. So you are the most important person to yourself to be able to love yourself, tell yourself you're worthy, tell yourself you are respected, and be that coach. Imagine if the voice inside your head was your best friend. I mean, what would you say? What would you say to your best friend when something happens, when they had a failure or they hit a bump in the road? What would you say? So say that to yourself. Start speaking to yourself just like that. It's not just self-help, it's self-revolution. So let's turn our inner critic into our inner coach. Thank you for listening.